The 2023 Lions schedule is out. Let's break it all down right here on a Thursday, Locked On Lions.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, let's do it, everybody. Matt Dery with you. It is a Thursday evening edition of Locked On Lions, schedule release Thursday on the Locked On Podcast Network on a Thursday, May 11th and a Friday, May 12th. Here it is. We've got the schedule. Lions 2023 schedule is here. Thank you for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Most importantly, watching for free and subscribing on the Locked On Lions YouTube channel. We're going to get into all the game coming up on the show. We're going to go through each game. We're going to go through the week one announcement, which came up this morning. As I told you yesterday, I was hearing within the walls of 222 RWD that the Lions had a chance to open up the season in Kansas City in primetime. Amazing. We'll get into that coming up momentarily on the show. We'll talk about only one division game in the first 9. We'll talk about the end of the season schedule. The primetime games, yes, the Lions are going to be playing in primetime 4 times, maybe 5. I'm sorry, 5 times right now. Chiefs, at the Packers, Raiders Monday night, at the Packers for Thanksgiving, and a Saturday night game against Dallas. 4 night games, 5 in primetime, with a chance at a possible flex 6th against the Broncos in Week 15. So much to talk about. You can follow us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions on Twitter, the Matt Dery Facebook fan page. And again, like I said before, check us out on the Locked On Lions YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening and checking us out, again, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so here we go. Very quickly, let's just do a quick rundown. At the Chiefs to open the season, Thursday, September 7th. Seahawks, home opener, 10 days later, September 17th. It's actually the same weekend that University of Washington comes to play Michigan State, so you'll have a lot of Washington natives in our state. Falcons, September 24th, Week 3 at home. On the road at the Packers, Week 4 for Thursday Night Football. Panthers at home then, 10 days later, October 8th. At the Bucks, 1 o'clock, October 15th. At the Ravens, 1 o'clock, October 22nd. Monday Night Football, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman come in with the Raiders. Silver and black on Monday night is just awesome. How cool is that? And the Lions, thank God, got a home Monday night or Sunday night game. Thank goodness. Bye week in Week 9, following the Monday nighter. Then they go to the Chargers, November 12th. That's a 4:05 game. Last Lions haven't played a 4:05er in a while. Bears at home, the entrance of Hall of Fields. 1 o'clock, November 19th. Packers for Thanksgiving, November 23rd. 10 days later at the Saints for Week 13. Week 14, December 10th, at the Bears in Chicago. Broncos, to be determined what the date is. That could be a flex game. That could be anything. In Week 15. At the Vikings for Week 16, Christmas Eve, 1 o'clock. The next week, December 30th, a Saturday nighter in Dallas against the Cowboys under the lights. And then the Vikings in Week 18, also a TBD right now. But 2 of the last 3 games against Minnesota, Week 18 at home against the Vikings. But let's start with this. The biggest news of the day came this morning when it became official. And we talked about this yesterday on Locked On Lions. Look, I'm not going to pat myself on the back. I'm not going to give you the I told you so routine. But if you listen to this show, occasionally I give you some information. I give you some inside scoop. And this was a nice one yesterday when I was told in the afternoon, hey, look, the Lions, some people inside the building are preparing for opening night, September 7th, Thursday nighter, Tirico and the NBC crew at Kansas City. And people said, oh, no, they're going to put the Bills there. They're going to put the Eagles there. No. They put the Lions there. And one of the VPs in the NFL, OC, whatever his name is, was on Dan Patrick earlier today. And our executive producer, the great Nathan Litke, sent me the piece where this guy, OC, basically said, look, we're putting the Lions in prime time because they bring energy. The Lions bring energy, and we wanted energy for that first game. We love the way the culture's changed there, and they won 9 games last year. So the Lions are opening up at the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending world champs, at 8:20 Thursday night, September 7th. Number one, I am so happy. I'm seriously like emotional for Lions fans. I'm so happy for you. So happy for Lions fans. How great is this? The Detroit Lions are going to be playing the first game of the season. Thursday night, prime time, everybody watching. Only 2 teams are playing. The whole world's going to get to see the Lions play the defending champs. I think it's incredible. I've been pushing for it since March. I've wanted it. I'm excited. I took a bit of a step back today, and I listened to Ben Brown with us yesterday on the show from Pro Football Focus, and I have to admit something. I think the Lions could get shredded. I'm not saying I'm not picking win or lose on May 11th. I'm just saying, like, Ben brought up some good points yesterday about he's a little concerned about the secondary, even though the secondary is so much better. But what he's concerned about is gelling and meshing right away, and it's going to take some time. And you're going to be playing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, a healthy Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to play in the preseason. A healthy Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense in week 1 when you have all new cornerbacks, basically, except for Jacobs and Harris. Brian Branch may be out there. You're going to have Kirby Joseph in year 2. You're going to have Tracy Walker coming back from injury. You know, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Sutton, Mosley, all these new faces in the secondary. It may take a little time for them to get used to playing with each other. And they're going to have no experience together other than maybe some scrimmages with the Giants, maybe some preseason. And right off the bat, you got to face Mahomes, Kelsey, and the Chiefs. This could be like a 51-45 final because I think the Lions will score some points. But I'm just saying, I'm a little concerned. The Lions defense is in for it's in for it in week 1. Like, I'm so happy it's happening. It's so cool. It's exciting. Prime time, the whole thing. First game of the year. Our Lions there. But the Chiefs, uh-oh. New secondary, uh-oh, right? So that's my thought on this. But I will say this. The great Noah Taluki, one of my former students at U of D High and one of my favorite people in the world, is such a diehard Lions fan. He was texting me today and he's like, we've arrived. And it's like, maybe he's right. Like, maybe the fans that say, oh, you know, we're back and this is the line. And I kind of always say, pump the brakes. They only won 9 games. They didn't make the playoffs. But for the league to pick Detroit to be the opponent the night the Chiefs hang a banner, get their championship rings, celebrate last year's Super Bowl championship, to put Detroit in that game does have meaning. It does mean that the league doesn't think this team is a joke anymore. Last year, on this same night, we did schedule release, and I went, this is ridiculous. How could the Lions not get any primetime games? How's every game at 1 o'clock? And I know they had only won 3 games, but it was ridiculous. They were the only team that didn't get a night game. And the league said, well, you get your Thanksgiving game. That was BS. Then I heard today when Matt Schneiderman, who covers the Packers for The Athletic, say he released the Packers schedule early, and Green Bay had 5 primetime games. And I'm like, how do the Packers get 5 primetime games with a quarterback no one knows if he's any good or not? And I know it's Green Bay and Lambeau and all that. So to see the Lions get Thursday night, Monday night, Thanksgiving, Saturday night, 3 night games in Thanksgiving makes me happy. And there's a possibility they could flex the Bronco game in week 15 and, of course, even the week 18 game. But right here, right now to go, prime time, the Lions are going to be playing at night 4 times, 2 Thursday nights, a Monday nighter, and then at Dallas on a Saturday night. It's pretty damn cool. And that's a testament to this organization for building this thing to where people want to see the Lions and they're getting that opportunity. So I think it's great. What else is great is Built Bar. If anybody's excited about trying some sort of nutrition bar, a protein bar, and you're thinking, what do I get? Do I get one of those Cliff Bars, or do I try something from Sam's Club or Costco or anything else? No. What you do is you try Built Bar. They are a delicious snack, good for you, and they taste great. If you're like me, you want to make healthier snack choices, want something that's healthy and tastes amazing, you got to get yourself a Built Bar. They are that good. They're 100% covered in real chocolate, real dark chocolate, and they come in great flavors. You got churro, you got peanut butter brownie, cookies and cream. I'm not sure how Built does it, but the calorie intake is not that bad. Only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and you get that whopping 17 grams of protein. All right, you can go to built.com right now, or you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club, while you can still get your specialty flavors. Of course, like I said, at built.com, and put the promo code in of locked15. Go to Walmart, go to Sam's Club, go to built.com. It is Built Bar. Shout out to our everydayers, those that listen each and every day. We appreciate you guys so very much. Dr. Mark Siegel, like I mentioned, the Litkeys before, John Walsky, so many of our everydayers. We appreciate you guys, and I will try to list off as many as I can whenever I can. The great Coach Pav, he'll be listening tomorrow morning. Thank you for listening and making us your first listen right here on Locked On Lions. So you look at the schedule overall. I mentioned the Chiefs game. Couple of things stand out. Only one division game in their first 9. This past year, the Lions started off 1-6, did not play well. And I understand too. They want to have divisional games toward the end of the year. They want to definitely have divisional games in week 18, which they always do. And for the past few years, the Lions have basically been playing on Thanksgiving against divisional opponents. We've seen Thanksgiving games against the Bears, the Vikings, everything else, Packers, and all of that. So Lions, Packers for Thanksgiving, but only one divisional game in the first 9. So the Lions will only play at Green Bay Thursday night in week 4, September 28th at 8:15. And they will not play another divisional game until week 11, when they host the Chicago Bears and the Hall of Fields, Justin Fields, at Ford Field. So I don't know how I feel about that. I look at the schedule and I don't see any games where I go, oh, or a block of games where I say, oh man, that's like a murderer's row. I think Carolina is going to be a tough out for the Lions at home. I look at Seattle and what they did to the Lions at Ford Field last year. And you're right, easily the Lions could go 0-2 to start the year, having to play at Kansas City and then come home and play Geno Smith and the Seahawks. Seahawks are well coached and they're good. And they came in and hung like a 50 burger on the Lions last year. It's possible. But I'm not looking at this going, oh man, Falcons. At Lambeau, the Lions won there last year with Aaron Rodgers. Under the lights. Panthers, Bucks. At the Ravens won't be easy, obviously. Baltimore's always good. Raiders Monday night at home. That place is going to go ballistic. It's going to be awesome. Chargers out west. They always gag. Bears and Packers again. Saints on the road. My buddy Ross Jackson, the host Locked On Saints. God bless Ross. I'm a big Ross fan. He put out a tweet today about, could the Saints win 10 games? Dennis Allen ain't winning no 10 games. At the Bears, Broncos, let Russ cook. It may be the end of the year. At Minnesota, at Dallas, weeks 16 and 17. And then the Vikings at home for week 18. 2 of the last 3 weeks, it's going to be tough that week 18 game might not mean anything. Maybe the Lions have the division wrapped up by then. That's got to be the hope. But a year ago, I looked at the schedule and said, this is going to be very, very difficult. Well, 2 years ago, when Dan Kimmel then started, I said, this schedule is going to be murder. Last year, I thought there were going to be some tough games, and it was not going to be easy having to play the NFC West and the AFC East last year. I thought that was going to be difficult. I didn't like last year the Lions having to go and play in the Meadowlands in cold weather late in the year against the Jets and Giants. And you know what? The Lions won both of those games. There's only one cold weather game on this whole schedule. And that's at Chicago, week 14, December 10th. Weather starts getting cold, what? Mid to late November? Lions, November 12th, are in L.A. in the Dome. Bears and Packers at home. At the Saints, Dome. Bears on the road December 10th. Outside. Vikings, dome. Cowboys, dome. I mean, there are no cold weather games here. So that's interesting. They will have 3 back-to-back road games, which I don't love. At the Bucks, at the Ravens in October, at the Saints, at the Bears in December, at the Vikings, at the Cowboys in December. That's going to be tough. Certainly, you would hope that the Lions would get off to a better start this year than they did last year with the 1-6 and not have to make up games. That they can give themselves a little leeway here to go, if we go 1-2 in our last 3, we're still going to be okay. But again, the Lions last year hung with Dallas in Dallas. They were right in that game until the Jamal Williams fumble on the 1-yard line. Then it's skated out of control. But I don't look at this schedule and I'm not phased. I'm not sitting there going, oh man, that's last year, remember we said, got at New England, tough timing of things. I'm looking at timing. I'm looking at teams. If I had to pick one game, and maybe we'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow. If there's one game you go, there's no way the Lions are going to win on the road at Baltimore after having to be in Tampa. I don't know. But I'm not sold on Tampa at all. I look at the AFC West. Yeah, Chiefs. Yeah, I mean that's going to be very tough to win. All right, but the Chargers don't do it for me. The Broncos don't scare me. And the Raiders for Monday night, good luck. Josh McDaniels coming in to a snake pit of Ford Field. That place is going to be going absolutely crazy. Absolutely nuts. More on the schedule and what I see forecasting for the Lions. We will do that coming up next. All right, so here we are on Locked On Lions on a beautiful Thursday evening. Schedule release is out for your Detroit Lions. And again, Detroit will play 4 primetime games that we know of under the lights at night. 4 night games. Chiefs in week 1. Thursday nighter in week 4 at the Packers. Monday Night Football, October 30th. Halloween Eve. Do I even say Devil's Night? Am I allowed to say that? October 30th. Just everybody behave. And you will. This city is going to rally against the Raiders. And then Saturday night, prime time on ABC or ESPN with Joe Buck and them at the Cowboys, 8:15 start time. 4 night games. Last year, the Lions got flexed into 1. That was it. Remember last year how angry we all were? And I was. I'm like, look, I know they only won 3 games, but my goodness. Not a single night game. Everything at 1 o'clock. Flex that game to nighttime. The Lions prevailed in Green Bay. They were so fired up. And now, think about it. Monday Night Football at Ford Field against the Raiders. The silver and black come in. That is just going to be off the charts. It's going to be so cool. So cool. I can't wait for that. I was reminded today about the 2015 pass back and forth game where Rodgers hit the other Rodgers for the Hail Mary. I can just remember how loud that stadium was. I can just remember how loud the Monday Nighter was against the Bears years ago. This is fantastic. Raiders coming in October 30th for Monday Night Football. But again, I look at these 17 games and I don't see anything that daunting. I don't look at a stretch and go, oh man, 3 straight on the road. There are none. There's 2 straights on the road. I'm not looking at anything and going, I like, all right, Chiefs and Seahawks start the year, like I said, but then you get the Falcons. And I know Atlanta's improved, but who's playing quarterback for Atlanta? Desmond Ridder? Ooh. The Packers, we'll find out about Green Bay right away in week 4, Thursday night. But then the Lions get to come home after playing that Thursday night game. They're not doing any back-to-back Thursday nights. One of my crack research staff did send me something earlier. Where is this? I got to find this. The Lions are the only team to play 3 Thursday games this coming season. They'll become the second team in NFL history to play 3 Thursday games in a single season, joining the Bills from last year. They'll become the first team to do neither of these 3 games occurring in consecutive weeks. Buffalo played in Thursday season opener last year, and then on Thanksgiving, and then on the following week after Thanksgiving. So the Bills' schedule allowed for a full week after the game on Thanksgiving. So they got to play back to back. So the Lions have 3 Thursday games, and yet none of them are back to back. The bottom line is this: they're getting to play under the lights. They're getting to play at night. You know, that tells you something about what the league thinks of this team. So I'm excited about it. We'll break more of this down again tomorrow. We'll touch on each game. I'm excited. Excited to see them open up in Kansas City. It's not going to be easy for the secondary, but I see a lot of wins and I see a lot of opportunity here. And again, Broncos in week 15 right now is a to be determined. That could be a Saturday game. That could be anything. That could be flexed. So the Lions could be getting a lot of opportunities to play in prime time. So shout out to this organization because they've done a great job in kind of building this thing. Now, you know what? They got to go do it. We've seen this before with this team, with this organization, I should say, with this franchise. Getting your hopes up, momentum. Now they got to follow through. But I think the roster is better. I think this schedule is very playable. Very playable. Thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. We're back again tomorrow.